Hey guys, today I want to talk about the VA clinic, but first, be sure to like and subscribe, guys. It's always appreciated. Anyway, I want to talk today a little bit about the VA clinic in Manila. A lot of you guys always ask me about the VA clinic here in Manila. And let me just say this. The VA clinic in Manila is only for service connections, okay? Only service connections. They did do the COVID vaccines for anybody that was prior military veterans, okay? You could go in there and get your shots and everything. So that was kind of a nice thing for them to do. But when you go in there, it's all service connections. For people with service connections, if something presents itself, they will help you with a 30-day supply of medication in most cases while you're seeing your doctor. Let's say if you showed up there with pneumonia or something like that, in some cases they'll help you out with things like that. But it's really service connected. It's supposed to be all service connected, but sometimes they will help service people with things like that, but it's not meant for that. So don't take advantage of that because you'll wreck it for other people in the future, guys, okay? Don't use it as your primary doctor, even though it is your primary care physician for your VA service connections. It's not for other things. Okay, so I just want to get that correct. And a lot of guys think that because they are 100% service connected, in the Philippines, it's different than the US, okay? They're still only going to treat you for whatever is written in your records as your service connections. Now, some people have disagreed with me on this, but I asked the doctor herself, and she replied to me, she goes, only service connections, Steve. So just FYI on that. Now, that's what I was told by the doctor, okay? So I just want to put that out there, and I want to talk a little bit about this, okay? VA Manila has some of the nicest people in the world there. And I see a lot of people walk in there, and they, I know a lot of veterans have different issues. Some of them have psychological issues, mental health issues, things like that. And sometimes they bring those into the VA, and they throw those at the poor people that sit there. And when I was sitting there the other day, I saw somebody there, and I had this similar experience happen in the embassy one time too. And this guy was being kind of rude to the woman there because he didn't feel that he was getting the service that he needed, but it was mostly due to the COVID. Okay, it was due to everything that was going on with the virus and the way that the place was currently getting run. Okay, so that's what was going on. So it wasn't anybody's fault, but he felt like he was kind of being crapped on. He was asking some questions there about some documents that he needed, something to do with a will or something. And I just could overhear because he was talking kind of loud. And he was kind of getting rude with the lady there. And the lady was trying to help him as best she could. And she was being really nice to him. And I almost wanted to walk over and say something, but I figured that was the guard's duty. And the guard wasn't saying nothing yet, the Filipino guard, but he was watching what was going on. And the lady was handling it pretty well, despite the fact that he was being exceptionally rude, okay? Now, was it the veteran's fault? Yeah, it probably was, but I don't know his background. I don't know, what his situation is. I don't know if he has mental health issues or PTSD or something. Could be that he does. So I just kind of left it at that and just let them deal with it. And it kind of worked itself out in the end. And the lady ended up being able to help him. And it was actually the lady on the phone, because that lady that was at the front desk there actually kept having him call some lady. And he was getting very frustrated with the two of them. And finally, the lady on the phone said, leave everything at the desk and I'll take care of it. So they ended up taking care of it anyhow, which was good. So it ended up working out for the best. But I just want to say this here. When you go in there and it's your first time in there, you're going to sit down and they're going to sign you in. They're going to sign you up for the foreign medical plan, and they're going to ask you a lot of questions. And they're going to answer almost everything before you even have a chance to ask those questions. So when you go in there, if you have a disability and you come to the Philippines, you go into you make an appointment to go in first. Or you can do a walk-in too, and you go in there and you just tell them what you're there for, and they sit you down, sign you up, sit you down to see a doctor, and they have you do blood work and all that, and they talk to you about your health, and they start asking you a lot of questions about your service connections, and they start explaining the way things work there, you know, and they explain to you about the foreign medical plan, all that. They're very, very helpful. And let me just say this, guys. Treat these people with a lot of respect. I love the people at that clinic. The guy that's in charge there, he's fantastic. He has answered questions when I emailed him. And when he comes in every time, he goes over and says hi to the veterans. I appreciate that about somebody. And the guy has always been kind of a nice guy. He's very upfront with people. He tells you like it is. And that's one of the things I appreciate about him. I asked him one time if the VA clinic in Manila was ever going to close down. And he said currently there's no talk about that. So I was kind of grateful to hear that, because there was rumors always swirling around that it might close down or something like that. I'm sure he'd tell us. And we'd probably have 6 months to a year at advance notice to try to figure out what we wanted to do. And if that happened, it would be a mess for a lot of veterans over here, let me tell you. It would be a tragic mess. Because for a lot of veterans, we'd have no health care anymore. And as far as for our service connections, I still have, I'm lucky. I'm very exceptionally lucky that I have Pacific Cross over here. So I'd be taken care of. But I'd probably have to fly back to the US every once in a while, or to Guam, to check into one of the VA clinics, just to be safe and to make sure that I get checked on everything. And I'm not sure if they would mail my medications here, but at least I would know what I need for medications, or I could probably get my medications off my doctor over here or whatever. I'd probably have to pay for them. It'd get a little bit expensive, but it'd be rough if the VA Manila ever left here. So God willing, it'll stay here. Because, as we know, a lot of veterans come here to retire. It's a big benefit to us. And for you veterans out there that use VA Manila, be sure to stay on top of your congressmen and your senators to keep it open. No matter what, write to them and say, hey, listen, I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate what's going on over here in Manila, and I want to make sure that it stays open. Even though they're not closing, just to make sure that those people know that we do appreciate that. It's a big thing for us. I wish we did get treated the same way we get treated back home, and we could get treated for whatever. But I know a lot of people here take advantage of things like that sometimes. Okay, and here's the problem. When they used to pay mileage here, people took advantage of it in a big way. A lot of people put down that they lived in Mindanao. They'd put an address down there, and then they get paid for a trip back and forth to Mindanao or wherever. And that's what wrecked it for a lot of the veterans here, because a lot of the idiots out there would take advantage of things and they wrecked it. And that could get quite costly. And I wish that the VA Manila would take another look at that and at least give us something to help us alleviate those costs. It would be nice. But you know what? I'm happy with what I get. I don't get a lot, but I'm very happy with what I have. So even if that didn't come back, I'm just grateful that the VA Manila is here. And everybody else should be too. And that's why I tell people, guys, treat those people nice. Treat those people like with gratitude. Let them know that you appreciate and you love them, and you know you're glad that they're there. Because I'm sure as hell glad that they're there. I'll tell you that much. I don't know what I'd do without having a VA over here. I'd probably have to go to someplace like Belize and travel back up to Texas or something and use the VA there or something. Or maybe go to Guam, which is very expensive now, and probably go back to work or whatever. And that's not what I want to do. That's not what my life is about. So anyway, guys, I wanted to throw that out there about VA Manila. Don't take advantage of it, guys. Don't abuse it. Just go there for what you need, okay? And we'll be fine. And if anything ever does change and they do try to close it, we all need to unite, guys. And if anything ever happens like that, I'll put it out there. I think usually what happens is, last time what happened was when they tried to close it, people started writing to, I believe it was the senator from Hawaii, because he was like the closest state. And they started talking to him, and he got it changed. And I can't remember the guy's name. I believe it was like a Japanese guy or something. I can't remember. He had like a kind of an Asian name, but he was a great guy, and he helped things out over here for us to keep the VA clinic over here, which is, you know, I mean, I can't speak highly enough about the people that are there and how much it helps people here. But anyway, guys, let's stay united on this. If we ever do hear anything, let's all fight for this. Whether you're a veteran or not, it helps the veterans here. And we all need to stay on top of this. So even if you're not a veteran, you know, and you love veterans, stick with us. Help us when we need that help. Because that could happen in the future. We don't know. Right? As of right now, everything's fine. But when things change, I'll be the first out there to tell you. God bless, guys. Love you guys. And I love you veterans. Thank you, guys.